We're now looking at paper 1 from the foundation tier from 2020 from Edexcel, and I'm just going to go through the first few questions because these are all quite short ones. So I'm going to do questions 1 to 5 in this video. So question 1 says we've got to write the following numbers in order of size, and we've got to start with the smallest number. And these can be quite confusing because it might appear that 32 there, or 0.32, is bigger than 0.4 because you might compare 32 with 4. But it doesn't work that way with decimals. And I find the easiest way to do it is to look at the one with the most number of decimal places, which is this one, which has got 3, and then add zeros onto all of the others so that it's got the same number of decimal places. So if we look at the 0.35, if we add 1 0 onto that, that's also got 3 decimal places. I'm going to add 2 zeros onto this one, and I'm going to add 1 0 onto this one. And now it's easier to compare because we can see that 309 is actually less than 320, and it's less than 350 and less than 400. So I'm going to write the 0.309 first. Then the next biggest one is 320 because that's less than 350 or 400. So I'm going to write 0.32. When I'm writing them in the answer, I don't need to put those zeros that I've added. That's just to help me decide which one's the biggest or smallest. And then the next one that I'm going to write down is the 0.35 because 350 is smaller than 400. So 0.35. And then the next biggest is 0.4, which is actually the biggest of them all. And we've done it. So that's the first one. So for this second one, we've got a list of numbers, and from this list we've got to write down a multiple of 3. And a multiple of 3 means that it's got to be a number that would be in the 3 times table. So if I was unsure, what I could do is write out the 3 times table. So I could go 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, and we can see now we've landed on one of the numbers that's in our list, so 18. So I'm going to write down 18 as the answer to that one because 18 is a multiple of 3. If we look at question 3 now, so we've got to write 4.666 correct to the nearest whole number. So the whole number in this one is actually the 4. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to write it again here so we can see it a bit better. 4.666. I'm going to cut it off at this point. So I've got to decide whether the 4 is going to stay as a 4 or whether it's going to be put up to a 5. And to do that, I've got to look at this number here, so the digit after the 4, and I've got to decide whether it's more than 5, or 5 or more I should say, or less than 5. And because it's 5 or more, I'm going to add 1 to the 4 here. So what I do get is to one whole number, to the nearest whole number, this is 5. Because the 6 there has put the 4 up by 1. For the next question, we've got to write 3/4 as a decimal. And there's probably several ways of doing this, but in this case, what I would do is I would say, well, a fraction does mean the top divided by the bottom, so that's exactly what I'm going to do. So I'm going to write 3 divided by 4 there, and I can see that 4 doesn't go into 3, so I'm going to write a 0 there. But then what I can do is I can put a decimal point after the 3 and write zeros after it as far as I need. So I can see that 4 didn't go into 3, so that means I'm going to carry the 3 on, and now I'm doing 4s into 30, and 4 goes into 37 times, and I'm going to put a decimal point in the answer above the decimal point in the line below, and I've got to carry on the remainder. So the remainder there was 2 because 4 sevens was 28. So if I carry that on, carrying on the 2, and then I'm going to go 4s into 20 now, and that goes exactly 5 times. So that's 0.75, that answer. So 0.75 there. The next one says we've got to write down the value of 7 in this number in 8765. So for that, we have to understand what the place values are. So this first column here is the ones or units column. The next column, which the 6 is in, is the tens. The next column is the hundreds, and that's the one we're interested in, that's the 7. And the next column with the 8 in it is actually thousands. So we want to know what's the value of the 7, and because the 7 is in the hundreds column, that means its actual value is 700. And that's it. That's the first 5 questions finished. So I hope that's been helpful to you, and if it has, please consider subscribing to our channel and also giving the video a thumbs up. Thanks for watching.